Welcome to the Baron's Hideout podcast. I'm your host, Dustin.
And I'm your co-host, Aaron.
And today we're going to be talking about a movie that came out last year. I don't think this was technically a pandemic movie, but I did see this during the Salem Horror Fest, virtual fest last year. And it was really fun. And when we were trying to come up with movies for Thanksgiving, this one I remembered very fondly because I really like this movie. It's fun. It's got some good one-liners in it. Some pretty good kills for a low-budget movie. It also stars Linnea Quigley. So for all you 80s horror fans and Linnea Quigley fans, I'm sure you guys have probably seen this. And if you haven't, then you need to go watch it right now. You can watch it on, I think Amazon Prime is really the only place to have it, like to go and watch it. I think. There might be others. I mean, I think they might have a physical release, but I'm not entirely sure. If they do, I do want to get it.
Well, who doesn't have Amazon Prime now, so...
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't, I think it's like $2 to rent or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. It is a slasher. It takes place on Thanksgiving, and it's fun. And before we jump into the IMDb and all that good stuff, your first time viewing it, Aaron, what did you think before we get in, towards the end? We'll do our actual ratings, but just quick one off. What did you think of it?
Like you said, yeah, it's a good fun movie. I did just kind of reminiscent on the 80s a little bit. I feel like even though it is a more it only came out a year ago. You said,
yeah.
So, but I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. It was. I did a lot of the one-liners and
yeah, it was very good.
But yeah, no, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
It's short and it kind of just gets straight to the point.
Yeah.
Doesn't really drag along at all.
It's a good quick watch.
Yeah,
just a casual.
If you want to watch something that's a slasher, it's pretty quick and doesn't have too much
goofy.
plot. Yeah, not too much plot or anything. It's definitely worth it. But let's jump into the IMDb and then we'll go to the Rotten Tomatoes. So their little description of it is: a family of cannibalistic pilgrims attacks a restaurant that stays open for Thanksgiving. That actually does sum up the whole movie. This is another one of those wow, IMDb really nailed it. Usually they're pretty bad with the descriptions, but that was pretty good. A lot of the cast is kind of unknown. They don't really have a lot of credentials. I think it was just a lot of just friends of friends that probably wanted to go and shoot a movie.
Yeah.
But the main character, Lisa Marie, is played by Samantha Farrand, and let's see what she has done. Looks like she's done a lot of low budget stuff. Helter Skelter. That must have been, I don't even know what that is. Maybe the documentary.
The really only known person is Linnea Quigley.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a lot of.
Honestly, wasn't even that big.
No. So yeah, that's pretty much all that they have.
Rotten Tomatoes doesn't have anything.
Really, no scores or anything? No. Wow. So this is a very niche, unknown movie. So I'm kind of glad that we're covering it to kind of let people know about it because it's super fun. I love it. But if I guess we can do our ratings now since there isn't any Rotten Tomatoes. Obviously, we're going to go through the whole movie right now, but I kind of feel bad that there isn't any Rotten Tomatoes score on there. So I'm going to give it...
Let's change that.
It is low budget. It's got not a lot of flaws in it. It's fun as hell. I think just for the fun factor, I got to give it a 9.
Yeah.
Just for the fun factor alone.
Yeah, it's a good movie that I think even people who aren't necessarily into horror, you can just something fun to do on Thanksgiving, when you have the family together on Thanksgiving, be hey, let's watch this horror movie. It'd be funny. Yeah. It'd be a good time, Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is a good. It's a good time.
Yeah, it definitely is.
But yeah,
the effects are good. The music's pretty good in it. I'd have to say the acting is pretty good for how low budget it really is, and you can feel the low budget in this film.
Oh yeah, but that's not a bad thing.
No.
Yeah,
they definitely do a very good job of telling a good story.
Mm-hmm. But I give it a 9 too.
9. All right. Cool. So I guess if we just jump into it, we are covering The Last Thanksgiving.
Dun dun dun.
I guess I'll start off. I kind of like how this whole movie starts, it gives you a very like Halloween, like, you know, John Carpenter's
Like fall,
Halloween.
like, yeah.
Yeah, that too. And also with the title cards, with the color and how everything is, it's very John Carpenter's Halloween. Oh, yeah. And I think they were really trying to play like a homage to that, and I dig it a lot. There's a lot of like close-ups on woods and stuff, and there's like turkeys. There's people just walking around the streets and everything. Yep. And then we kind of jump into this family of mother and I guess it's a mother and father of the girl Lisa Marie. But the thing is, the way that she talks, I feel like maybe she was a stepmother, and then like that's like her actual father. Yeah. Because they kind of don't seem to get along. She's getting mad at Lisa Marie because she's not getting out of bed and she has to go to her job. And then we cut to Lisa in her bed listening to music, and you can tell like, okay, she's definitely, I don't think she's a teenager, but she's definitely probably like college status, I would have to say, around there,
or like in between graduating high school and going to college.
Because I don't think, did they ever really disclose that in this? I don't think they do. But she definitely seems like she's
probably around 19, 20.
Yeah, around there. You know, like all of us were all edgy and, you know, kind of depressed. But she kind of takes it to an extreme, because she's always like really bitter. And she's technically like the main character of this movie, and you kind of want to love her, but you kind of end up loving to hate her in some areas. Yeah. But I think it's a good character all overall. Mm-hmm. So she like comes down, and her quote, I'm gonna say quote unquote mother, is like, you're gonna be late, you gotta go to your job. She's like, I don't want to work on Thanksgiving, because all this takes place on Thanksgiving, and she works at a restaurant, and it's funny because like as they're like talking, she's like feeding the dog. And then she is given food by her quote-unquote mother, I guess, trying to kind of sample of like whatever the dinner is going to be later on in the day for actual Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And she's like, who made the deviled eggs? And then the mother is like, I did. And she's like, they taste iffy. And then she just throws them on the ground. It's, oh my God, it's really funny. And then Lisa Marie goes into her car, going to back up to go to work, and she almost causes a freaking accident. And it's kind of funny because even the people in the car are just like, well, that's Lisa Marie, you know, like
they just know.
Like the town idiot, essentially, or the one who's always causing problems. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of cut to another part of the film, and we get a little bit of eerie music right here. It's us being introduced to we don't know it right off the bat, but you kind of make sense and like put two and two together as like the scene goes on, of the cannibals. And it's the I guess, I don't even know how to really describe them. Like, is it the sister? Yeah. Is it a friend? Because there's like 4 or 5 of them. They call themselves a family, but I think they're all friends or something, of like whatever's going on.
It's kind of a weird switch situation.
Yeah, and they're kind of prepping a meal, and she's like tasting blood essentially, and she's saying, "Oh, is this enough flavoring?" And I guess she cuts her hand also, and then the guy comes over and
he like licks it off.
Yeah, licks her hand. It's like, yeah, that's enough flavoring. It tastes good. And they bring food to this unknown figure in like the dark. It's kind of like a quick scene, just kind of get introduced to like what the antagonist is going to be and everything. Mm-hmm. But it's a pretty good scene, I'd have to say. It is very low budget, but even with the hand being cut, the effects are really good, I'd have to say. And I guess I'll let you take it for when Lisa Marie arrives at work.
All right. So she arrives at work, which is like
Logan, stop it, please.
Little breakfast joint. Or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's called Dairies, which I thought was kind of funny, as in Dairy Maine from It.
Yeah. Yep.
But that was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, that's what I thought of too the first time I saw this movie.
But then we end up getting some shots of a couple employees. 2 of them staring at each other, and it's what I think is a bartender or server.
Or like server or cashier or something like that.
but he's like in this like little booth, and then the bartender or the server is the black guy, I believe.
Right? I think so, yeah.
If I remember correctly, but yeah.
Yeah, that's how I was kind of thinking of them as well.
But we're cutting through the restaurant, and then we cut to two cooks. It's these two loud, like lunch lady-esque, like cooks.
They're pretty funny though.
Yeah, they're funny. You can tell they're really close though, and that they're like best friends. But they're talking about how they have families and
and one of them I guess doesn't have like a family to go home to, so she's kind of okay with being at work right now.
At work, yeah. Which, if I mean, anyone who works willingly on the holidays, I mean,
yeah. But been there, done that.
Anyways, so, then we meet Trudy and Mr. Pearl, who is the owner of the restaurant. They're in the office. His dad is also there, who's this old bald dude in a wheelchair. Yeah. She's coming in, she's bitching about something, saying that they won't work, it's Thanksgiving, so he decides he's going to call a meeting. She storms out, and then Lisa comes in.
Always trying to put in her 2 cents everywhere she possibly can.
Yep.
And this is kind of the beginning of that, too.
Mm-hmm. So she storms into the office. She's pissed about working on Thanksgiving. And I think the dad has like this creepy thing for her or something like he likes that. The attitude.
Yeah, something.
She was like mean to him, and he's just like, yeah, have some candy.
yeah, exactly.
And he tells the other guy, he's like, nope, not for you.
Yep. Continue going. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, anyways, they walk out. She walks out of the office, and we cut back to the other group of the cannibals who are putting a suitcase into a van. Lisa Marie then tries to order an alcoholic drink from Tyler, who is the bartender. And then she goes on about how Eddie, who is the cashier, wants to ask him out. He says he's not his type, or that he's not gay, but
Sorry, I'm back.
You're good. Yeah, so
where are you?
When she's trying to get the bartender to serve her alcohol, but he won't.
Oh yeah.
And she's talking about how what's his name? Eddie has a thing for him.
Yeah, Eddie is like, oh well, I didn't want to tell you, but I'm going to. I guess like Eddie's gonna try to like ask you out or something later on.
Yeah.
And he kind of says, well, I'm not gay. But I don't know if it's just how the guy like moves and everything, but he kind of has like that flamboyant like body type. But I don't know.
You never know. Maybe they did used to have.
Yeah, maybe, because I kind of got that hint too that maybe there was some sort of history between him and somebody else like that worked there, but I don't know. I don't remember who it was.
But so anyways, Tyler decides to go up to Eddie, and he tells him that he's trying. He doesn't want to tell any. He normally doesn't tell people this, but
this fucking scene.
He tells him that he's a little bit psychic.
Yes.
In that he predicts little things here and there. But he got word from Lisa Marie that there was going to be a meeting, so he tells Eddie that Mr. Pearl's about to call for a meeting.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, 30 seconds later, the boss comes out and calls for a meeting, and Eddie's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was a pretty good scene.
But yeah, so he ends up calling the meeting. If he says if they don't have any customers, coming by the time they finish cleaning up, they can go home and they'll close up shop. And he decides he wants to take a group photo with all of his employees.
They seem, for how like annoyed they are for that day, they're all like smiling willingly for the photo. Right? I was expecting them to all have like upset faces and everything, but they're all just like, yeah, hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then anyways, they're all, hoping to fucking close up, and they're starting to clean, and then enters Linnea Quigley, who plays this old.
Yeah,
like,
I don't remember what her name is. I didn't write it down. It was some weird name, so I just say Linnea Quigley because it's easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun. They're all pissed off and everything. She comes in. She doesn't really seem like she's like an annoying customer, but she kind of is. And we'll get back into that when we see her a little bit more. But after she enters, we go back to the cannibal house, and it seems like they're talking to, I think, the guy in the room again or something like that. And then we also see like the second group of them kind of split off and go into a van and go find more of their, I guess, Thanksgiving dinner. And it seems like is this when we get that montage of when they're killing everybody, or is that later on when they're talking to Lisa Marie? I kind of confused myself in my notes right here.
I think it's going on as it cuts back to them like at the restaurant.
Because we see the house and then Kurt enters the restaurant as the cooks are talking. So I'll skip to that one because the other part didn't really have a lot going on other than them kind of splitting their groups and saying that they're gonna be setting traps and stuff, and how they always have like someone who runs away.
There's always a chase.
Yeah. And this is kind of when the comedy starts to kick in a little bit too, because he's always trying to like grab weapons and shit and kill them.
Yep.
So he decides to go in there and says, "Hey, I'm looking for a job. Who can I talk to?" And the girl's like, "Well, you can go talk to Mr. Pearl." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So he goes in there and he talks to Mr. Pearl. You can tell that he was probably already at this point ready to kill everybody in that restaurant, especially when he enters the office.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as things start going in his favor, who walks in? Lisa does, and Mr. Pearl's like, "Okay, well, here's a new employee. Go take him to take out the trash and just show him around." And so she goes to do that, and then this is when Linnea starts to get a little annoying with the guests, because it was supposed to be Lisa Marie's table, but she pawns it off to Trudy. And she's like, "Okay, whatever. I guess if you're gonna be with Kurt, or I don't think they know his name. No, they do. They know his name now."
Yep.
And then she's like, "Okay, I'll take it, whatever." And cause she's like, "If I do this, I get to go home also." So that was another thing that Mr. Pearl said. So it's like, if you take the table, Lisa Marie can go home. So that happens. And of course, as Trudy goes over there, Linnea's like, "I didn't want this. There was like something wrong," or she was like, "I'm like a vegetarian or something."
Oh yeah, why? And then she ordered a turkey dinner.
Yeah, she's like, "So then why did you get the turkey dinner? The cooks are going to be pissed that you're having me go back there and make a new one." She's like, "Well, I just don't want it." I was just like, "What the fuck?" And like, for us who have worked in the restaurant industry long enough, Aaron still, I kind of got out. Yeah, you run into those people a lot, and it's just like you're just dumb. You're just trying to cause like trouble.
Yeah.
Or just make it hard on somebody else because you're having a shitty day, and it's very annoying. So they go to take out the trash. I'm pretty sure Lisa leaves and to go see her boyfriend.
Yeah.
But Kurt is still at the restaurant, and it says, I wrote down he was on the phone. Did he have like a mobile phone? Is that what he had?
I think so.
I think that's what it was.
Or
for some reason, I remember someone.
Phone.
Yeah. Why do I remember there being a scene with them being in a phone booth? Maybe it's a different movie I'm thinking about. But yeah, he's on the phone, and this is when the comedy kicks in. He grabs a knife, and the way he grabs it too is kind of funny. He's like very like what's the word? He's very
like swift and
swift and like he knows what he's doing, and he's like, "Okay, so this is the thing." So he makes his way back to Mr. Pearl's room and approaches him. And then he walks up, and then he realizes he has a whisk. And then Mr. Pearl's like, "What are you going to do with a whisk?" And he decides to jam it into his eye. And it's a very good effect. It's quick, but you see everything. And for how low budget this film is, they really go in on their special effects in this movie, I have to say. Because you literally see everything that happens.
Imagine taking a whisk to the eye.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you. Looks like he goes back and grabs another thing. But if you want to take it away for a little bit, you can, Aaron.
All right. Wait a minute. So and then this is when he goes after the cook, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, and this is when like the panic starts to happen.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, do you already go over? Do we do the part where Kurt takes Trudy outside?
Did I skip a bunch? Oh no, we're back.
Am I ahead then?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's okay. Sorry guys, our notes are so go up a little bit. We are. I think I might have wrote everything in one. Oh,
okay.
So.
Oh, good.
What the hell did I do? Did I skip over? Sorry, for everybody listening right now. I'm sorry. I'm actually gonna leave this in because this is kind of fucking funny. Just go from right here. It's fine.
That's all right.
We're gonna go for right there.
All right.
A little bit of outtakes right there.
Oh, good. All right. So, anyways, Kurt's outside with Trudy. They're taking the trash out.
Yep.
He tries to he wants to show her like a trick or something over by this van that's parked outside now. The one that they were loading the suitcase or whatever into.
Yep.
And
that's a weird thing too, because maybe did we ever see anything that happened with that suitcase that they had?
I feel like later in the movie it comes out because
maybe
I could be wrong though.
It's a cool looking suitcase. I gotta say that it's like a huge trunk.
But he tries to lure her over to the van, and I think he's smoking a cigarette, and he tries to he's like, oh, you want to drag or something like that, and he ends up burning her with it.
Yep. In her mouth.
Yeah. And then she gets shoved into the van. The group of cannibals are in there, and they end up just grabbing her and just scaring the shit out of her, and they scalp her.
Yep.
And just watching how easily they just fucking.
That I can't imagine how awful pain. That must feel. I really can't.
But then enters Maggie.
Oh yeah, the sister. I think she's a sister. I don't even know.
Sister, friend, family member,
something like that.
Something cannibal.
Yeah, a cannibal
fellow
sister.
Cannibal.
I'll say cannibal sister.
Cannibal sister. So she enters the restaurant.
Mm-hmm. And this is when they're all dancing and shit too.
Yeah,
that's really
everybody's
funny.
Dancing.
It's really cringy. Oh, it's so cringy. That's funny though.
But yeah, she comes into all this, and then Kurt's in the back. He ends up killing one of the cooks with a meat cleaver.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I think it was the cook that didn't have anybody at home. I think.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. And then Linnea tries to escape. But
the way that she runs and stuff and hides is really funny.
But the doors are all barricaded at this point because everybody's panicking. Mm-hmm. Somebody just got killed. Excuse me, I lost my place again. And then
I think we go to the bathroom where Tyler's
found in the bathroom. He's hiding in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But Kurt ends up seeing him go into there, and he follows him in. He's knocking on all the stalls, and he's like, knock, knock, I know you're in here. So he's standing outside the stall at Tyler's, and he kicks the fucking door into his face.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Which, good on him.
Yeah, definitely.
And he ends up running out of the bathroom. And
I abbreviated. What the hell did I abbreviate
MPD.
Huh.
Mr. Pearl.
Yeah, maybe.
Miss Pearl's dad.
Okay, that's right. My notes sometimes really mess me up too. I'm like, what did I write there?
Anyway, so he escapes sort of. He runs away from Kurt, and then we cut to Mr. Pearl's dad and Maggie.
Yeah, I think also Lisa Marie's in.
She's hiding under the table and seeing this whole thing. She managed to hide. She's seeing him talk shit. They're both, just again talking shit to each other. She pushes him around and I think he pushes him out of the wheelchair at one point, right?
Yeah, I think towards the end he kind of like holds it up.
Yeah.
And like he like gets pushed into Kurt too, and I think he like kicks him in the balls and shit.
Yeah.
And then grabs a broom.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't realize this, but he actually did kill Maggie. Because she never showed up after he beat the shit out of her with a broom.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if that was a confirmed kill, but watching the whole movie through, she never showed back up. So I guess that she was dead. But then.
Well, yeah, he ends up. Yeah, he takes a fucking kill. How do you kill somebody with a fucking broom?
He just goes ham, man, and Kurt's like there with his like balls are hurting and shit.
Just watching his sister or whatever get.
But then I
killed
think
with a broom.
he eventually does kill Mr. Pearl's dad. And then starts to kind of go and try to find.
He takes the cleaver again, right? I think slices.
I think
his
so.
head in half.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, and Lisa Marie's watching it.
Yeah,
it's such a great shot. It's like, floop.
Yeah,
it's like someone cut open like a ham or something. It's like,
it just falls open.
It's great. That's probably what they used. They probably used a fucking ham for that shot.
Right. But yes.
Everybody's held up in the kitchen too.
Oh yeah, everybody's barricaded in the kitchen now. Lisa Marie just saw all this go down, so she starts running. And she's trying to get into the kitchen, but it's barricaded. She's like, let me in. And then Kurt's after her. And so she gets in just in time, of course, like in every horror movie. But
and then I guess Big Brother Trip, comes and he's the guy like wears like the
mask,
the pilgrim mask and the hat
he's
and
like
everything.
The big dude,
yeah, he's the one that's on the cover that we have over here. It's kind of poor quality, but that's him, and that's Lisa Marie also.
Yeah.
So yeah, he like sets up traps on all the exits, and I think Trudy gets she's dead. She's dead. Who the fuck gets trapped? Is it the other cook? I think it's the other cook that gets trapped with like the net.
Yeah.
And they're like trying to like cut her loose, and it's not working.
Yep.
I think it's Tyler that's trying to like cut her loose.
Yeah.
And then Lisa Marie gets pretty much choked. She ends up getting away. I think she was fighting off Trip, if I remember correctly. And then oh yeah, and then Eddie kind of puts up a fight with. No, I think I got it backwards. Lisa Marie is fighting Kurt. And then Trip's in the kitchen fighting with Eddie because Eddie manages to kind of lose, and Linnea's over there, and this is also a really good kill.
Oh yeah.
Is when she gets put into the dishwasher and is slammed down the
on
door.
Her fucking neck.
Yep, and it washes her head, which is really really funny. I'm
always curious to see what kind of kills come out when a kitchen's involved in these movies.
Yeah, we need more like kitchen slashers.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Eddie and Tyler. They're taking the one car that's still left over there, which is Lisa Marie's. I don't know why the hell I put Trudy is left behind. I think I fucked up there. It's the Lisa Marie is the one that got left behind.
Yeah.
And, along with the cook, and I think they both got captured. So we don't really see much of them until we get a little bit further down. But now this is when the chase begins, and Kurt was talking about this earlier with the lady. It's like, oh, there's always a chase.
Yep.
So that's pretty much the chase. And then another funny thing that happens is, oh wait, no, I'm getting myself all freaking like twisted up over here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm doing a really bad like description of this movie. Lisa Marie actually escaped, and she's running the streets.
That's right.
So she's running down the streets, and then we run into the same car from the beginning of the movie that she almost crashed into.
Oh, and they just drive by her, and they're like, "Fuck that bitch."
Yeah, and she's like, "What the fuck?" So she has to continue running for her life as she's being pretty much hunted by Trip, I believe, because Kurt's the one that's driving another car, which I think was like his sports car or whatever. So she runs back to the theater where her boyfriend Buddy is, or I guess their boyfriend. They were kind of awkward. We didn't really touch on it earlier because it was kind of a quick scene. She kind of goes back and like sees him, and then she goes back to the restaurant and dances and shit. But yeah, she goes back to the theater to go find Buddy to get help. But she's shouting for him and whatnot, and he's upstairs in the projection room. And she sees from afar, I believe, from like the way it's kind of shot, is Trip is in there and kills him. I don't remember how he got killed. I think he just got his neck snapped, if I remember correctly. And then she gets
doesn't she like hide in the seats or something, and then she like drops his body, like
and then she screams.
Right
Oh wait, no, he's actually still alive. He got stabbed. There's so many characters in this movie. He gets stabbed because he's still technically alive, as we see a little bit later on. But that was pretty much what he did to kind of get her to get out of the seats, and then they both get captured. And then we cut back to Eddie and Tyler, who are being followed by Kurt. And everybody now is pretty much captured because Kurt finally catches up with the car and throws in like a smoke grenade or some shit and knocks out Eddie and Tyler. And then we kind of get to the final conclusion of this film, which kind of goes by rather quick. This whole movie was very quick. Like once everything starts happening at the restaurant, it's like the movie's kind of already over. But now everybody kind of awakens and they're sitting at a table. And they're kind of told that they're part of the Thanksgiving celebration. They're all going to give their thanks, and they got to give like one call to somebody in their family or a friend and let them know how thankful they are for them. Which I think this is kind of a weird turn. What did you think of this whole setup of like, hey, your one last thing before I kill you is you have to call somebody and tell them how thankful you are for them?
I think that's just adding insult to injury at that point.
Yeah, because if you're so thankful, then why are you killing everybody, you know?
Yeah, but I think it also shows a little mercy on their end, because they're like, we're giving you one last chance to, but, I mean, obviously don't go around fucking killing people, though, and eating people, you know? Yeah. But kind of reminded me of, like, Saw. Yeah,
a little bit. And then I wrote that there was another really weird thing that happens. Like, we cut to like a TV. I don't know who the fuck is watching it, but it was like a Halloween / like Thanksgiving horror special. That was actually really well shot. I want to watch that whole thing. They need to go and make that. And then we cut to everybody else calling. Lisa Marie calls her parents. I think her mother answers, and she starts. We don't really hear what Lisa's saying, but we hear the mother on the other end like saying, "Oh yeah, well it's okay, I love you too," and whatnot.
And then they take the phone or they smash the phone, and then they're like, "Oh, that bitch hang up on me."
Yeah, and that kind of sounded like a plea for help and stuff. Eddie tries to run away, which I think is really, really fucking funny because he's like hopping away and shit. And there's a trap by the door. He sets it off, and a scythe goes through his chest, which was really fucking cool.
I always thought scythes were the coolest fucking like weapon as a kid.
And I will let you carry on for the next little part, and then we can kind of switch off at the end when it gets really fucking crazy.
All right. So then it's bonding time. They're at dinner, and they're getting their cannibalistic Thanksgiving feast ready. Yeah. They got a fridge full of body parts.
Which is cool because you didn't really see that earlier on. So they must have really chopped up all the people they had earlier on, and I was like, okay, now we're freaking stockpiled over here.
Meal prepping.
Yeah, literally.
But Tyler, after getting a fucking scythe put through his chest, is continuing to hop away and escape, or
Eddie's the one that got killed.
Oh wait, Eddie. Sorry.
Yeah, Tyler's the one that
that's right.
Think.
Never mind, I got mixed up.
It's all good. I'm trying to think what the fuck happened to Tyler, because I don't think he was tied to the chairs. Wasn't he the one that was like in a different room?
Oh yeah, wait.
There was something that happened earlier on that I didn't write down. That there was like one person in a room that gets put in the room with
I think
the guy.
Lisa Marie.
Was it Lisa? Okay, that might happen later on. So forgive me for jumping ahead, guys.
But anyway, he's being hunted by Trip, and he sets off one of the traps that they set up before.
Yeah, this is a brutal one.
His knees end up getting fucking just
impaled. Yeah. By like spikes. It's perfect too.
He's in the house, right? Because he's like in the hallway, and he like opening the doors and shit, and then like he ends up fucking. Okay, I think.
Yeah, he finds Trip, and he's kind of laying there for a while until like another thing gets revealed. That's kind of creepy.
Yep. So, and then
I think it's back in the kitchen, right?
yeah, this is they're back in the kitchen, and they end up I don't remember the gun, to be honest.
Yeah, that happened. They're kind of talking. So Lisa Marie is there, and her boyfriend Buddy is there.
Yeah.
And before they reveal Buddy, they turn Lisa Marie around to like, well, this might get a little ugly, so I'm gonna put this gun in this drawer, which I thought was kind of like a way to let them know. To let Lisa know that, hey, there's a gun here, you can come and grab it, kind of like do like a toy, and like and when she grabs it, it'll be fake.
Yep.
Like that's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I must have missed that then. All right.
It's very quick. It happens really, really quick.
So then, Buddy ends up getting carved with an electric knife, like a turkey knife, and it is fucking brutal to watch.
And Lisa Marie is watching the whole
right in
fucking
front of her.
thing. Oh. I can't imagine like a worse way, because it's an electric carver they're using too, and those things fucking suck. If you've ever used one, they're awful. They jam all the time.
Yep.
They don't cut well, and it's always like
so imagine
wobbly.
trying to cut through like human flesh with that,
and you're alive during it too. Like, dude, no, thank you, man.
But then we get introduced to the gravy pit.
Oh yes.
Which they talk about how it doesn't start out looking like gravy until people go in there. And then I can imagine it gets pretty fucking nasty. But it must be some kind of like acid or something.
Yeah, it's got to be.
But so anyway, and then they explain their traditions and what they do to honor Abigail, who was one of the pilgrims, who, one of the first settlers who started the tradition of cooking human meat for Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, fuck that. Like, that's worse than
that's fucked up, yeah.
Like, obviously, we did a lot of shitty shit back then with like all like the Native Americans and stuff, but like also turning on like your own people and eating your own people.
Yeah, right.
Is fucked.
I know. But then we cut to like a historic flashback montage of killings over the years,
which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, a little history lesson. So then Lisa Marie is put into this really dark room, like pitch black. You can't see shit with this with a person from before who was being fed, and then Tyler sees Abigail. Kurt enters the restaurant through the back. Wait, what? Oh, my notes were out. I think mine was just fucked up and out of order because I was getting stuff in the beginning.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, I have to keep stepping away just because I'm watching my son as my fiance is working late today, so sorry for all of the interruptions and stuff. Where did you leave off?
Oops, hold on. Sorry, it was right after
the montage.
Yeah, right after the montage. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so after the montage, Lisa Marie's put in that room with the
dark room. Yeah.
Yeah, with that other guy, and then Tyler's still in the hallway with his knees like completely fucked up.
Yeah.
But he sees Abigail come out of the room because they're even like hinting like, oh, she's still alive.
Yeah.
And you see like this really like old, gross, wrinkly woman who's like walking the halls, and then Tripp comes and takes out the spikes from Tyler's knees and tries to bring him over to the gravy pit. And does he get thrown in for some reason? I don't think he did.
No.
Because it says, oh yeah, then Kurt, what the hell?
Yeah, see?
I think I might have got messed up.
Kurt goes to, Tripp brings Tyler to the gravy pit. Kurt goes to the closet.
Oh yeah, I think trying to find, what the fuck was he grabbing something? I don't know what I was writing here.
I think he went to go grab the gun or something, and then Tripp's face is revealed.
Oh yeah, that's right. They rip off the his mask, and he's like kind of like all like fucked up too.
And then Kurt ends up falling into the gravy pit.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of a scuffle there with Tyler, Tripp, and Kurt. Especially after like Tripp's face is revealed, it's when things start to go a little crazy, and then Lisa Marie finds her way out and like convinces the other guys like, hey, let's get out of here. I know you don't want to be here, because she's in her room with the guy. It's like, let's just work together so we can get out of here.
Yeah.
And then she literally brutally stabs I put the sister.
Yeah.
And then this kind of like starts like kind of more brutal kills and chasings and shit.
Yep.
As Trip like leaves the room. I think he finally gathers his mask, and then Lisa Marie, I think, literally starts carving up the sister, and then she shouts out, "They're called Native Americans." I don't know what the fuck what they said before that, but I wrote down that quote.
Something about Indians. Or...
Yeah, something like that. And I guess this is melted Kurt too, because we get with him.
Oh, he like comes out of the pit.
I think that's Kurt. I don't know who else it would be, but yeah, everybody else is pretty much dead. It's just Trip and Abigail now, and Trip is literally trying to run away with Abigail in hand.
Oh yeah, and Lisa Marie grabs the gun.
Yeah, she goes to grab the gun, which I thought was going to be fake, and turns out it's not, and fires it and shoots Trip, I think, in the shoulder. And then she, I think she reaches out even more.
Yeah.
And then Eddie decides to grab a pitchfork, which was a pretty good fucking idea, and stabs, I think, Abigail and Trip at the same time. And then to kind of finish it off and, you know, go full circle with it, they decide to put Abigail in the fucking oven. And I think
and
that's...
just leave the fucking house.
Yep, and then you hear her fucking, like, breathing and shit, and then she finally dies because they cooked the fuck out of her. And that pretty much concludes the last Thanksgiving. We kind of already put our ratings and everything. I know this is kind of a shorter episode just because this movie was super duper short, but... It was a good one.
Yeah.
And, Aaron, if you want to take it away as I go help my son, I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, The Last Thanksgiving, as we mentioned, came out 2020. Is introduced in the Salem Horror Fest virtual site last year. And poor thing.
Yeah, it's okay. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty much The Last Thanksgiving. Super duper fun. Make sure you go watch this on Amazon Prime.
Good time.
And it's super fun. If you guys like slashers, this is definitely one to tune into.
Yeah.
But as of now, we will see you guys next week for our review of Thanksgiving. So we're going to be continuing with the killings and shit. So thank you guys so much for being here. This was the Bear Inside Out podcast. I was your host, Dustin.
No, I was your co-host, Aaron.
And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Peace.